Okay. Yeah, so you're saying that you think it's B. And actually, if you imagine yourself, right, let's say you're Mia and you want to buy 3 notebooks for $1.29 each, and you go to the store. And let me share my other camera. So that you can see what I'm imagining. And I want to know if that's also what you see. So this is Mia, right? And she went to the store and she bought 3 notebooks. This is, I like to write down what I'm imagining in my head because it helps me figure it out better. So I want to buy 3 notebooks, and each of them is $1.29, $1.29, and $1.29. Okay, now when I go to the cashier and pay, she's going to charge me for the 3, right? And I'm going to have to, you can solve this 2 ways actually. And B is correct. You can multiply $1.29 times 3, right? Should I go over this process?
Yes, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure.
Okay, good. So let's go over this multiplication. When we use partial products, what we're trying to do is we're going to multiply by the place value of each digit. So this 1 is not really representing the number 1. This 1 is representing 100. Because when we multiply, remember when we multiply by decimals, we're going to ignore this decimal. We're going to pretend first that we are multiplying 129 times 3, right? And so we have 100 here, we have 20 here, and we have 9. And so we would multiply by the place value, not necessarily by the digit. So it would be 3 times 100, which is 300. Then we have 3 times 20. 3 times 2 is 6, and then I have that 0, right? And then 3 times 9 is 27. Do you have any questions about this step that I did here?
Nope, I completely understand.
Okay, good. Shayla, do you have any questions? Okay, so we just add, right? 7, 6 plus 2 is 8, and then 3 plus 0 is 3. So we have an answer of 387. But wait a second, does it make sense that I'm going to the store and buying 3 notebooks for $387?
No, that does not.
No, and I can't forget, I'm working with decimals. And so where do we put the decimal? And what we do, remember this 3 has kind of like an invisible decimal here because it's a whole number. So we would count how many spaces in these 2 numbers we need to move in order to get to the decimal. And so we, from the right to the left. So we would move from here to here. So that's 2 places, 1, 2 places. And here, the decimal point is here, so we don't move. So in the answer, we're gonna also move 1 and 2 places. That means the decimal point goes between the 3 and the 8, meaning that these 3 notebooks all together are $3.87. And if you notice in the question, and wait, before that, any questions about that? Where to put the decimal?
Nope, that seems completely right and I understand.
Shayla? Okay. So if we go back to the problem, is it asking us for the solution?
Nope.
No, it's saying which expression shows how to find the total cost. And what does it mean with expression? So I have the expression or equation here. So an expression does not have an equal sign. It has a plus or a minus, or it can also have a division sign or a multiplication sign. An equation has an equal sign separating two expressions. So the expression really means how do I have to set it up in order to get to the solution? So what they're looking for is not necessarily for this. They're looking for how you set it up, right? And we know that this is the same as, that is the same as 3 times 129. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so just be aware that sometimes these problems in the test are not just going to ask you for the solution. All right, so it looks like somebody needs help. I will be right back. I want you guys to try this problem. You can find it in the presentation under classwork, okay?
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Amber needs help knowing how to get onto Google Classroom.
Okay. All right. So Amber, do you have your Google Classroom email, like the same account that you use to get on Clever? Do you have that? Oh, you're muted. So you have to click, yeah.
What'd you say again?
Do you have like the school's email?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I see. It's usually your lunch ID, and then it's at pokeschools.org. So when you go to Google, when you go to Google Classroom, and let me show you. So when you go to Google Classroom, it's gonna take to mine, but it's gonna ask you to sign in. I mean, it's not gonna take you to mine, it's just gonna take you to the signing page. And you wanna use, your account might be there, or you might have to just put it in. You can say use another account. And then that's where you put that lunch ID and at pokeschools.org.
Okay.
So try it and then let me know how it goes. Actually, can someone, while she's trying to get into her Google Classroom, someone might be able to share it in their screen. Did you guys try that? Okay, I just allowed you to do it. I just had to allow you.
Do I go through how do I go through that? Do I go through?
Okay. So you would put your email on top. That is the lunch ID. Is that what you were asking?
Do I go through the Clever thing? Like, how do I get to do that?
Okay. So good thing we're doing this. Okay. So do you have a browser popped up like this? And so what you can do is you can type on top Google Classroom.
Okay. And then just go through it from there.
Yeah, and then you just click on Google Classroom and you should see something like this. Let me know when you see that.
Okay.
I can share my screen if you need.
You have been sharing your screen?
I can.
Oh, okay. You can't right now because I'm sharing it, but I really want to get her to go to Google Classroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm at things that shows like what's due today and everything.
Oh, okay. So you're there already. Great.
Okay, so now what do I press on from there? Because it
Okay.
said like 5th grade remote and then other teaching things.
So you would go on classwork right up here. Great. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And you can see the work for Thursday, April 15, and it should be the first assignment. You click on it, and there is the presentation.
Okay, so now I'm on the thing. Like now it says the math test prep thing.
Sweet. And so there are different slides, and you can go to the different slides. Okay. And I allowed your peers to share their screen. So Sims, if you can share your screen, that would be super helpful.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go now. Any more questions? All right, sounds good.
Okay, so we just want to make sure we answered the right question. It was the question on slide 6, right?
Let me check. Oh. No, that's not it. I meant this.
Oh. There's so many questions.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I meant to use this to explain something here.
Oh.
Yeah. But this is
Uh,
what the questions look like. They should have a number and choices. Like
okay.
released items from the actual EOG from last year. Not last year, the year before.
We answer number 7 then?
So number 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You're not behind, just letting you know.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Okay. Oh, okay, you guys are still there. Did you find that problem?
No, I didn't, but I was gonna try and do it if I did, but I didn't really see it.
Okay. Oh man, a lot of the groups need help. Give me 1 second, I will be right back. I do want to, okay, you're doing the right problem. Good, I just wanted to check. Bye. All right, we're back. So let's do this problem together. A business has 384 cases of water. There are 42 bottles of water in each case. How many bottles of water does the business have? And this question is not gonna have any multiple choice. So some of the questions will have multiple choice answers. This one does not. And it gives you some, like it's telling you directions on how to put your answer. It's saying that only 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 should be in your answer and are allowed in your answer, as you can see. Answers that are mixed numbers must be entered as an improper fraction or decimal. And we remember improper fractions and we remember decimals. Okay. And I don't think what they mean here is that your answer can only be up to 9. It's just saying the numbers from 0 to infinity. Okay, so what should I draw here? And let me, am I not sharing my screen? Yes. Okay. So what can I draw here in order? Zoe, did you get did you sign out and come back in?
Me and my group, we've just been waiting.
Oh, you finished already?
Yes, we've been done.
Oh, okay. We're almost done because I have my own group. Do you mind going back to your group?
Yeah, I will.
All right, sounds good. Sorry. Okay. So I won't make this very long because a lot of the groups are done. But what should I draw here in order to help myself understand this problem? Any ideas?
No, not at the moment. I'm still thinking.
Should I draw 384 cases of water?
Yes, please.
That would be nuts. So what I would do, I would just remind myself there are these cases, right? And there are 384 of these. And I'm just gonna go like this. They go on and on and on and on and on. And now there are 42 bottles in each case. I can't draw 42 bottles in this small square. So maybe I just want to remind myself and just draw one bottle and say 42 bottles, right? Okay, but now the question is asking, how many bottles of water does the business have? So there are 384 cases and there are 42 bottles. Okay, so I would really need to draw this thing 384 times, right? And so how can I show this mathematically? What do I have to do to know how many bottles in total are there in the whole store? Shayla, do you have any idea? What would you do? Would you add? Would you subtract? You're muted, or I just couldn't hear you. Oh, man. Can you put it in the chat? Let me find the chat. Where is my chat? Would you add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
I'm pretty sure you would multiply.
Shayla, would you multiply or do something different? You can use the chat. Multiply, I heard you. I read your lips. Okay, so I would agree with you. I would agree with you both because remember when we multiply, we're putting things in repeated groups, right? A bunch of repeated groups. And this seems like the perfect case for repeated groups. And I don't really have to draw 384 cases with 42 bottles. Simply, how should I write this? Deanna, how would you write this?
Can you write that? 384 times 42.
Times 42. Very good. And let's go over this again. Remember when I am multiplying by using partial products, I'm really multiplying by the place value. So here I'm really multiplying 384 times 40 plus 2. And that's what I wrote on the side. And I like to write it on the side to remind myself. So, uh-oh. All right. Let's start with the first group. Did you, so make sure you're ready. Okay. Who is going first?
I am.
Okay.
So I'll be telling you what property we used and the answer we got. So the answer we got was B, and the property we used was multiplication because it was the easiest way to solve the question.
Very good. And how did you know it was multiplication?
Because I mean, you could add, but it's way easier to do multiplication just because if she has 3 notebooks and they're each $1.29, and that's it.
Very good. Yeah, so as I did it with my friends in my group, right? Every time you have groups, right? And it's telling you that each costs this, it's either multiplication or division, but this time we wanted to know the total of all of them. So that would be a multiplication. And something very important about this question, and it's very specific to the test. So if you look at my screen, the question is asking you which expression shows how to find the total cost. So they're not asking you for the answer. And be prepared because they might put a question like that. They don't want to know the solution. They want to know how you got there. And I wanted to go over the difference between an expression. An expression does not have an equal sign. It's only a plus, minus, and they forgot to put a multiplication or division sign. When they're asking you for an equation has an equal sign separating two expressions, and you haven't gotten here yet. In 6th grade, you will. You kind of have, you just don't notice, but the expression is just the upper, like what you want to show, but without the equal sign, how you want to solve it without the equal sign. And the correct answer is 3 times $1.29. It is not division because we're not, if it were division, it would sound like I have 3 notebooks, or I bought notebooks and they cost $3.87. Each of them cost $1.29. How many notebooks did I buy? That would be a division problem because we would be going backwards, right? Remember that I know what I have in total, which is $3.87. And then going backwards or subtracting to get to know when we get to 0 and how many notebooks we would have, that would be division. So you guys did right. This is repeated addition, so it is multiplication. Any questions or thoughts about this problem? Okay, great. Next group.
So Isabella's answering the first question, and then Isaiah's answering the second question, and I'm answering the third and fourth question.
Okay, sweet. Isabella.
Okay, so we put for the first question division and multiplication, because
Mhm.
we use that to get the answer.
Okay, so you thought maybe division and multiplication. Great. Next person.
Isaiah, it's your turn.
I think Isaiah, okay, yeah, he's here.
One second.
We can hear you, yeah.
I have to. I lost the page. Oh yeah, it's on there.
Oh, okay. The question was, what in the problem is a clue for this operation?
When it says there are 42 bottles of water in each case. You would.
Okay, so it says how many, there are 42 bottles in each case. Okay, good.
Okay, so, and then I answer number 3 and 4. And number 3 was how many different ways to solve. And I think there was,
There's a fraction.
oh, okay. Well, I think there was like 2 ways to solve it. There was you could just memorize division summary and then have that in your brain. But, or actually, you could just like, you could do it in your brain and like, I guess keep adding 42 until you get 384 and you see how many times that did happen. And then the other way you could do it was the way I did it, which was I did multiplication. And so the reason I did that was because I looked and 42 did not go into 38. And so I knew it would have to be for the actual like whole problem. It wouldn't be long division. And so I estimated, I knew it wasn't 10 because that would be 420, but I knew it was a little smaller than that. So I tried 42 times 8 and I didn't get the right answer. So then I tried 42 times 9 and I got an answer and a remainder and all that. So I got, yeah, multiplication. So anyway, the other question was how did you solve? And the way I solved it was I saw 42 does not go into 38, and so I thought, okay, so I'm gonna have to multiply them. And so yeah, so I did by the time I got to the right multiplication problem, I did 42 times 9. And then I did the problem, I got 378. I knew that was as close I was gonna get to 384, but I knew it wasn't the exact right answer. So I thought, okay, well then I'll have to add a remainder. So I did 384 minus 378, and I got the remainder of 6. And so I got 9 remainder 6, and that's how I solved.
Okay, so let's look at this problem. Okay, so we have, and you will find that sometimes these problems are simpler than you would think. We have 384 cases of water. Here is my case of water, right? And so I don't want to draw 384 cases, but you can just imagine how many I have to draw, right? I have to keep going and keep going, right? And there are 384 cases of water, but there are 42 bottles in each case. And I'm not gonna draw 42 bottles. Maybe I'll just like pretend and draw circles, but I'm not gonna draw 42 circles either. So I'm gonna, wait, I just need a marker that works. So I'm gonna draw a water bottle. And I know that there are 42 inside this case. And there are 384 cases in the entire, excuse me, in the entire business. So that means that each case that's in the business has 42 bottles inside. So how many times I would be drawing this? I would be drawing that 384 times. So when we have, if we want to know how many bottles in total there are in the entire store, then that sounds to me like repeated addition. And then when we do repeated addition, what is the operation that we can use in order to get to the total faster?
I think multiplication.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the easiest way to know the total of the number of bottles in the whole place, right? Instead of going 42 plus 42 plus 42 plus 42, 384 times, we can just do this. 384 times 42. Okay, and I'm gonna go over this quickly just in case we need to see it again. When we use partial products to multiply, right, we're multiplying by the place value, not necessarily the digit. So we are really multiplying 300 plus 80 plus 4, and we are multiplying 40 plus 2. And this time I'm gonna line up my, because when I tried it, I didn't line up my numbers correctly and I ended up with the incorrect answer. So I'm really gonna try to line up my numbers here correctly. So I have 40 times 300, and that would be 4 times 3 is 12, right? And I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros, right? And then I have 40 times 80. 4 times 8 is 32. And I have 1, 2 zeros. So I have 1, 2 zeros, and I have 32. And I have 40 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And I have that 0. So that would be 160. Any questions up to here? Remember, we're using partial products. Okay, now I'm not gonna have enough notebooks, so I'm gonna rip a page later. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to this place value, 2 times 300, that would be 600. And I didn't line it up where I wanted to, 600. Lining it up is super important when you have so many numbers. Okay, so that 6 doesn't go there. And then 2 times 80. 2 times 8 is 16. And then I have 1 0. And I have 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay. And I'm going to add all of those numbers together. I know this may be repetitive for some of you, but some might need to see this again. And let me continue to move my camera down. So I want to add. And that's 0. I have 8. Then I have 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And 1. So that means I have in total 16,128 water bottles or cases.
Water bottles.
Okay. So does everybody see how this is a multiplication problem? Because it would require repeated addition. And repeated addition is always multiplication. Any questions? Okay, let's go to the next group. Oh, and I did want to go over this. You will find this thing on the test where it's asking you for an answer. Sometimes you will not have multiple choice. They will ask just for the answer. And what this is really saying is your answer should be from 0 to, we have an infinity amount of numbers. Your answer should be a number. And if an answer, and it says that answers that are mixed numbers must be entered as improper fractions. So you don't have to convert any improper fraction to a mixed number if the question needs you to have an improper fraction or as a decimal. And we haven't, you're gonna.
And when it says it right there, like improper fraction and decimal, I also have tricky what makes you want to, it involves like fraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes you think that it involves fractions.
Yeah, also, what's the like shaded box thing under it?
You know what? I don't know why they use that. That's how the released items came up. And it's very confusing, I have to say. And that's why I'm starting to add these problems so you learn to kind of ignore this. And just remember that they want a number. And if your answer is an improper fraction, leave it as an improper fraction. And later we're going to talk about how to make your answer a decimal, but just leave it as an improper fraction or a decimal if it's a decimal.
I've always thought like the shaded box were like an actual question. Like what fraction is this?
No, and so that is why it's really good that we're going over this, because that's what it's going to look like in real life. Okay, I have questions here. Okay, all right. Oh, Isaiah corrected me. Isaiah, thank you for, oh wait, 3. Oh, okay. Isaiah, I thought you were correcting me, but I think that wasn't correct. Okay, never mind. Let's go to the next question. All right, group number 3. So who's going to share?
Amber has the first question.
Okay.
For that one, I got B on it.
Okay. I think the first question was, what operation did you use? I mean, here you didn't really have to use any operations. So what did you do? Who was the next person to share?
Next question I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So what it says, what in the problem is included for the operation? I think that it's like, I need to see the problem. Yeah, I think it's like the X and Y axis. They help like understand like where the 2 and like 3 goes or whatever.
Okay.
And
Great. And then finally, so what answer did you guys get? I know this one was difficult to answer for those questions.
we got A.
Okay, A is 2. Okay, so for those of you who don't understand or are not familiar with coordinate explains that this should have been the first thing you guys saw this year. That was the first thing in the calendar for all the teachers. Some teachers decide to do it at the end, but this is the X and Y axis. And all that you need to know is that you can plot points on the X and Y axis. And so for example, in A point, so here pretend there's an invisible X and then there's an invisible Y here. 2 would be on the X axis and then 3 would be on the Y axis. But to complete the square, what did you say?
I thought that 2 was, wait, what axis did you say 2 was on again?
So 2 would be the X and then the other one would be Y.
2 was on the Y and 3 was on the X.
The X would be on this side.
No, the X would be 3.
No, this is the X.
The X would be the X axis would be 3 and the Y axis would be 2.
All right, let me just, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Give me 1 second.